Hello, everyone. Good morning, good evening, good day, good
Good day.
afternoon, wherever you are, wherever you might be. Welcome, 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 welcome. Boy, that Tindy count is climbing pretty quick. We'll give it a few minutes for everyone to hop in here. And then we'll get going. Got some awesome stuff to share with you guys today. Very excited to be back again. As
Yeah.
always. Well, I look forward to this webinar more than I look forward to Christmas these days. No, I'm just kidding. Although it's about even. Yeah, we'll let everyone kind of hop in here. And then we'll get going.
Does that mean
Of
I don't need to
course,
get you a Christmas present, Tom?
absolutely not. Absolutely not. I want that cool Pia like jumper that you're wearing there. That's very nice. Look at that.
Yeah, no,
Embossed
got
and
this one
everything.
this year. It's a new gear.
Yeah. It's gonna be hopefully appearing in my stocking by the end of the year.
I'll
Um,
write that down somewhere. Yes.
please. Thank you. It's still climbing. We're at 60 attendees, and it's still going up. So we'll give everyone kind of one more minute, and then we'll kind of get started. Take you guys through some exciting stuff. Of course, as with if you've been to one of these things with myself and Aaron before, we've ran you as well. Of course, we want you guys to engage. We want to hear from you. So you've got the chat, you've got the Q&A in Zoom. Hey Pablo, nice to see you, bud. Good to see you. Everyone who might have seen the office hours recently, that's Pablo there who was part of that. And of course, you do have the reactions in Zoom as well. If you do want to hammer those as we go through, as always appreciated. So do feel free to kind of do that.
Maybe we could test. Does
Um,
everyone know where the react button is?
Does everyone know where the heart button is? Can everyone find it? Smash that button if you
There it
can.
is. All right, awesome.
Oh, no, from Pablo, the chat is disabled, by the way. Only question and answers work. Which is fair. I don't know how to change that, so I guess use the question and answers if you need something. I suppose most would be questions anyway, but yeah, do
We'll do
throw
some
things in
Q&A
there.
at the end.
Yeah, we'll have some time for that. Awesome. Alrighty. We're still climbing as people kind of funnel in here, but I think it's probably time we kind of get going. What do you think? We
Yeah,
ready to
let's do
start
it.
this thing, Aaron? All right, sweet. Well, in that
Absolutely.
case, welcome again, everyone, to this webinar here. Good morning, good afternoon, good day to everyone who has joined today. Welcome to Pia's product update webinar, of course, brought to you by the team here. My name is Tom. I'm one of the engineering team here. Obviously, some of you may have seen me before or been part of my calls, in which case, welcome back. Good to see you. And of course, joined as always by the big man himself, Aron Hardy-Bardsley, our CTO, father of Pia. Are you pumped, Aaron? Are you excited to be
I
here?
am.
Bearing in mind what we're going to
It's
cover today.
Automation Hub launch time. I'm very excited.
Automation Hub launch time. Let's absolutely do it. So we're going to be going through the Automation Hub today. One of the latest features we're bringing to life, and believe you me, it's one of the most anticipated ones that we've had. I know if you've been part of my calls for the last like month or so, I think, I've been teasing this pretty hard. And it's finally here. We can finally take you through it. So really excited to kind of get in and take a look at this. Before we do, just a quick little bit of housekeeping for you all, of course. This is going to be recorded, as with all of them. They will show up in our YouTube channel, but of course, you will get a link to the recording as well. We're going to be jumping around quite a bit. We're going to be looking at quite a few things today. So if you do miss something, don't worry. You will obviously have that recording to go to. And of course, as we mentioned, please do pass in any comments, questions, and stuff like that pop up as you go through. We will have some time to go through those at the end for you as well. So first and foremost, for anyone who doesn't know, I want to give you a little bit of the background about Pia. Where do we come from? What are we doing? And why are we here? Right. So, as some of you may know, Pia was actually born out of an MSP. We actually came from VITG, which was the largest MSP in Australia. And it was built to solve the problem of growth. It's probably something fairly familiar to a lot of you here. As you increase the endpoints that you're supporting, the clients that you're bringing on, it's almost a linear progression that you also have to increase the service staff, the people who are supporting those endpoints. There's always a ratio of kind of 1 to 200, 1 to 150, 1 to 300 or so, and it generally stays that way as you increase up. So hurting that kind of that bottom line, right? Every time you increase a client, you have to bring in another tech or two in to support. Now, Aaron was essentially given this task, right? Figure out how to make the service desk more efficient, figure out how to do more with less, how to increase that ratio of endpoints to engineers or engineer to endpoints. Shrink it, increase it, make it better. I don't know which way around that would be, but essentially make the ratio better, right? How do we grow that profitability as a business without just throwing more bodies at the problem, right? And the scalability of that obviously gets quite hard. So the team looked around at the time, Aron looked around at the time, couldn't find anything that was essentially fit for purpose, that was going to allow this efficiency boost from the service desk. And that's where Pia came from. That's essentially where it was born, and it eventually became the entire kind of solution that you guys know and love, and you guys might be taking a bit of a look at if it's the first time. I think I captured everything there. Aron, anything you want to add, or are we pretty good to jump into the automation hub itself?
Yeah, no, let's jump in. Let's go through what we got.
Fantastic. Alrighty. So, quick note about the agenda. We'll whiz through this pretty quick so we can get into the meaty stuff for you guys. We'll be looking at the automation hub itself, of course. We're going to be talking about and looking through kind of the PiaPacks that are going to come with the launch and what that's going to look like maybe as time goes on. We're actually going to be running through a live install so you can see what that process looks like and all of the efficiencies that are brought in there. We'll talk about everything that's going to be part of the release. And of course, answering that question of, well, I love this shiny new toy. When do I get to play with it, right? When do I actually get my hands on this thing and I get to take advantage of everything that's in here? So we will talk about all of that as we kind of go through. Now, the automation hub itself, right? Why is it? Why is it here? What are we actually here to talk about? And as many of you know, as an automation company, as Pia, we always want you to get the most out of everything, right? Out of the service desk, out of Pia. That's what we're essentially here to do. And we've done this very well so far. We have a core set of over 60 automations, which I think is probably a little bit higher these days, which are fairly comprehensive. They cover most of the most common scenarios that you as the MSP, as your service desk, is going to face day in, day out, right? Your staff onboarding, your offboardings, your password resets, your group management, mailbox access, all of these tasks that come through, and they need to be done, but they're not particularly technical. They're basically just process driven. Go here, click this, log into that, do this. There's a lot of that. So we want to essentially help out there and give you that efficiency and give you that kind of time back. But over time, we've worked pretty closely with a lot of the MSP community that's using Pia, and we've been solving more specific challenges and scenarios. For example, we have automations that have been built for Google G Suite, which certainly apply to a lot of MSPs, but it's a higher priority to those that utilize it. Because there's obviously a lot of you out there, MSPs, that are more Microsoft focused and Microsoft based. So we needed a way to essentially give our MSPs a way to discover, download, and install these automations essentially on demand, right? Not necessarily wait for the full release or wait for the tenant to be updated, but just know that something's out there, not have to ask about it, just be able to discover it, get their hands on it, and use it immediately. Enter Automation Hub. Now, I'll do a pretty bad job of just explaining everything here, but luckily, as always, I am, of course, joined by CTO Aron. So, Aron, let's break it down. Firstly, what are you most excited for about the Automation Hub feature? I know we've been excited this for a while. So what is it for you that's really driving that excitement?
Yeah. I mean, everything that you just said, I'm excited about.
Everything.
Yeah. But yeah, especially giving obviously more automation to MSPs, right? So with this launch, we are launching 30 new PiaPacks, which are sets of one or more automations that solve a particular problem. So these are new automations that people haven't seen. And we do think there's something here for everyone. I think as well, being able to see and discover automations which help MSPs solve challenges they're having is a big thing for me. So I'm looking forward to people jumping in and being able to actually find things that are specific to them, right? So, I mean, obviously, a lot of the core set of automations that we make available to everyone, those are things that people can just pick up and use, and they solve common problems on the service desk. But this is the next step. This is the next, we're going to use this effectively to pump automations in to the platform and give people specifics, automations for different scenarios, different tech stacks and things.
Absolutely. So it sounds like there's going to be quite a lot of kind of varied stuff in there. As an MSP, can I just kind of go in there and grab everything? So I want a bit of everything. I want everything that's on offer.
You want everything. You certainly can. Not everything, we do know though, not everything in the Automation Hub will suit the needs of every workflow of MSP. And so we've done a lot of work to make it clear what each PiaPack does with the description. Some of them you'll find more comprehensive, whereas others focus on like a few key steps that MSPs we've worked with have considered to be like particular pain points, right? And so, if you have, you'll have things in there that target different technologies, different, even different PSAs. So obviously, if you're using one PSA, you're not going to download automations for another PSA, but you might download them and look at what they do to a sandbox and adapt them and things like that if you choose to do that as well.
Fantastic. Awesome. So generally, get in there and just have a look and see what's there and grab whatever's best for me. Obviously, we'll see the description and the instructions about each one as we go. But essentially just grab what looks good, what is going to be effective, right? Fantastic. And with the current release process that we have in place, right? The automations that we build, a lot of the ones that you guys have seen that are called, they're just out of the box, they essentially get updated directly into partner tenants automatically. But it sounds like with these ones here, with them being a little bit more on demand, we can basically just go in and grab them at any time, right? Without having to wait for that kind of full release, which is fantastic, by the way. The ability to just kind of do that thing is obviously really big benefit. But what else is different about this new installation experience? Because I know there's a little bit more.
Yeah, so you're absolutely right. It's on demand, and what's different about this is for anyone who's familiar with Pia and how we release automations to people, we kind of just put them straight onto your tenant, and that doesn't really work in a lot of scenarios where we wanted to roll out specific things for specific technologies or scenarios that may not apply to everyone or may not be their focus immediately, right? And so this is really important for us to supply a steady stream of automations that people can actually just download and install what you need and what you want to use, and when you want it. And so it's on demand in that sense. And what that also means is that it's more fluid. So the updates, for example, you'll have control over the update process. So if you want to come in and update, if there's a new version of an automation, like a PiaPack in here, you'll be able to see that there's an update for it, and you'll be able to come in here and update to the next version, or you can choose to stay on the current version. If you do update to the next version, you can choose to roll back. So you have full control over this. So effectively giving MSPs the control over their own destiny in that sense. But it does mean that if you want to update, you can do that without sort of impacting your service desk or manage the change more effectively.
That's fantastic. Like that is absolutely a fantastic feature, because a lot of times, especially with these tools that can be available with engineers, you want that kind of level of control, and knowing exactly what's going to be kind of available for them. So that is fantastic. Thank you. Now I know that some of these PiaPacks, we kind of mentioned some of them a little bit, kind of reference to it already. They come with integrations or essentially requirements, right? Maybe it needs to plug into a third-party system or needs a little bit of more permissions from the Graph API itself. Do I need to go through and set these up all individually, all separately, or is there any way the Automation Hub can help me with that as well?
Yeah, so this is covered by the installation feature in the Automation Hub. We spent a lot of development time on the ability for people to install and have a comprehensive installation process where it covers the configuration of everything that's in that PiaPack. So for anyone who's worked with Pia before, if you're setting up a smart form, there's specific setup for that, a chatbot automation, an extension automation. There's AI auto start automations, there's scheduled automations. There's a huge range of things that you can do on the platform, and depending on what you're actually automating, the setup requirements are different. So we wanted to create a comprehensive setup process within the installer so that you don't have to go and click through different client screens and configure a whole bunch of things on a per client basis. The installer will take care of that for you. So if the PiaPack requires setting up delegates, if it requires setting up package-specific configuration or extension point configuration, that is now done by the installer, and it is super simple and quick to do that kind of just in one place. So we just wanted to make that really easy for people to go in, find something that you like, and download, install it, and be up and running using it across your service desk very quickly.
Absolutely. And that's, I got to tell you guys, that is a really special experience. We'll see it live in a little bit as well. But yeah, thank you, Aaron. We're absolutely looking forward to that. Now, I know straight away, and I can see a couple of them in the kind of chat and in the questions already. There are going to be partners out there who maybe they look at an automation, maybe they look at that and they say, you know what? And they do it with a lot of stuff that we have out of the box already, right? They say, I want to know what's going on in this. Maybe I want to take it, I want to enhance it, or I want to use it as a reference and I kind of build on it. Now, a lot of our kind of automations that come out of the box, we give you access to, but they're locked initially. So how does the automation hub differ? What can we do about that if someone's interested in getting into the guts of some of these Pia
Yeah.
packs?
Yeah, so there's two options here. So first of all, so we're announcing that all of the PiaPacks that are available through the Automation Hub, you will be able to download to a sandbox straight from the Automation Hub. You won't need to contact our support. We are going to add in over time the automations that are already part of the platform, the core set. We will add those into the Automation Hub, and you'll be able to do the same thing with those. So if you find something that's close to what you want it to do, it does 80% of what you want, but you just need a couple more steps. You'll just be able to download that straight to a sandbox, add a couple of things to it, and then publish that up to live mode. So it's something that you'll be able to do there as well. Secondly, and a big reason why we're launching PiaPacks with the Automation Hub is that we are very supportive of MSPs and, of course, MSPs who have automation engineers and MSPs who just want to use Pia without necessarily customizing or having an automation engineer, someone writing that PowerShell, on staff. And so this actually works for both, because ultimately, the more that Pia can provide out of the box, the less that you need to do to actually, that's huge, right? The less that you need to actually do yourself, and the more you can focus on things that are really unique to your MSP, that they're really going to benefit you, if we just provide the standard stuff out of the box as much as possible. But what that also means is that Pia is taking on the job of listening to your feedback and improving these things, right? So we will be very open to feedback. We'll be watching the ideas portal, we'll be watching Discord. And one of the huge benefits of the Automation Hub that's actually going to make it better for us to actually iterate faster on these things is that we can actually just release updates on there and new PiaPacks kind of outside of our normal releasing schedule process. So we as a business will be able to respond a lot quicker and iterate a lot faster on the feedback. So we're looking forward to being able to do that as well. I will say we have an ambitious goal, and hopefully the dev team doesn't shoot me for this. But we have a goal to come out with new automation PiaPacks every month. So we'll be really hammering on pushing things out here.
Fantastic, and that is quite a commit. That is going to be really awesome to see, and a lot of benefit, right, for everyone watching. Knowing there's always something coming you just around the corner, is always fantastic. Now, I feel like we've teased long enough, right? We've been leaving this kind of screenshot in front of everyone for a little while. We've talked about a lot, and there is a lot to talk about. But have we waited long enough? Do we want to get in? Do we actually see it, Aaron? Do we want to take a look at exactly what's going on?
Yes, hopefully people are sticking with us. That was a little bit of talking mess, but yeah, let's show people some things. Absolutely.
All right, fantastic. In that case, let's go ahead and jump into our demo. So we'll take you through a live view of the Automation Hub and installing a kind of a package in here as well, or a pack, sorry. So let's jump over into the Automation Hub, and here it is. I'm just going to refresh, make sure I'm still signed in. Microsoft has a habit of kicking me out at the moment, which looks like it may have done. So let me just go back to the home page, into the Automation Hub. There we go. And here it is, right? So when it is live, and of course we'll talk about when that will be in a little bit, it's going to pop up as this extra tab here on the left-hand side. I know eagle-eyed among you have actually noticed this on my screen shares in recent sessions. A few people kind of asking about it, and I was like, no, just not yet. We'll get to that. Don't worry about it. But here it is in all its kind of glory here. So let's take a look at everything we've kind of got. Like, there's a whole bunch of kind of units we have in here. So let's kind of take through them one by one. First of all, on the top left in this kind of area here, we have what's a very kind of very flashy area. We have editor's choice, which is very cool. Now, Aaron, do you want to talk us through what the editor's choice is and kind of why it's here?
Yeah, so just on the left there, effectively, it's things that we've selected, the three on the left there from product team at Pia, that we think are kind of useful, broadly appealing to MSPs. And so I just wanted to spend a minute just covering these off, because I do think they're the one thing that I don't want to do with this announcement is understate the fact that we are launching 30 new PiaPacks, effectively 30 new automations. And so while we're not going to be able to cover all of those in this session, there's a lot there for people to go through, and there'll be a lot for people to go and discover and explore. But these three here, certainly the ones that we get asked a lot about. So we've got a compromised user account automation, which is when you want a consistent and automated way to respond to compromised account tickets that you get on your service desk. So perform standard actions and checks, such as checking mail transport rules, creating a mail rule to block outgoing mails, email from the mailbox that's being compromised, revoke active sign-ins, and disable the account. The second one on the list there is a very popular one as well. We get asked about a lot, which is OneDrive, archiving OneDrive data as part of a user offboarding. So you have the Pia offboarding automation today, and anyone who's familiar with Pia, but just for people who aren't maybe familiar with this, the way Pia works is we have these things called extension points in automations. And so we have the automations we provide out of the box. People can go customize that as much as they like if they choose to, or you can stay on the Pia supported version of the automation. And if you choose to do that, you can add custom extensions to it. So you can still customize functionality in it, but you just do it at certain points, predefined points in the flow of the automation. And so with the OneDrive archive extension there, you can actually just add that to the offboarding automation as an extension, and it will at the point of doing the offboarding, it will also do this extra step of backing up and archiving the user's OneDrive data for you. So yeah, very popular, that one. And then finally on the list there, we have, if you are using ID Watch, this is an alert checker. So if you got tickets coming in for ID Watch, this one will actually verify those ID Watch alerts and make sure that the ID Watch alert, is a valid alert. If this does check some things around that and verify with Office 365 and Active Directory. If the automation decides that it's not a valid alert, it'll just simply close it and put a note on the ticket. So effectively reducing the noise that you might get just by opening that tap of having ID Watch coming through, so that you can effectively focus on the real alerts. So yeah, those are the three ones that we just wanted to highlight there.
Fantastic. I love it. Absolutely. So we have a bit of a browse around. Let's see what else we've got on this page here as well. So we do have this trending list here in the middle as well. Now, this is going to be really interesting because this is, of course, is going to update with what the community is looking at. So we often get a lot of questions of what is everyone using? Where are people focusing their time? Where are people getting the most out of these kind of automations? And this will give you a fantastic snapshot of something's been dropped and hey, it's shot to the top of the trending thing. There's some value in there. There's definitely something people are getting out of it. And you're gonna be able to see this kind of dynamically update as time goes on. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. And next, just to the right of that, we've mentioned this a little bit already, but this is the integrations as well. Now, what some of you may know, and if you do not, Pia has the ability basically to connect with any third-party API. You can store the secrets, you can use them in these kind of custom automations, and you can kind of build those integrations as you want. Now, of course, several of our automations, and we'll take a look at some of them in a mo, or the PiaPacks, sorry, that are coming down, they use these integrations. But that's part of the pack itself. It includes this kind of integration itself. And we can actually see the automations or the packs that are actually going to be using each of these integrations as well. So we actually mentioned this one earlier. If we go to Google Workspace here, if we click on this, we can actually see these are the two kind of PiaPacks, the automations themselves, that use and come with that integration itself. Again, if we come back and we look at OneDrive Secrets, I think my favorite one, I've used this as an example in a few calls, and you can see there's the package that's going to be in there. And of course, I can go directly into this and install it from here if I kind of want to as well. So there's a lot of cool information. Again, you get this little kind of info badge up here, which keep track of things. But one thing we haven't touched on yet, and this is a really interesting one, especially for anyone that's in this kind of automation build space, is these blueprints down here. Now, Aaron, what exactly is an automation blueprint? What are we getting here?
Yeah, so these are PiaPacks which are built specifically for anyone who is diving into the world of building automations. So you've got some basic examples of how to do things. You've also got some more advanced concepts of things that you can do in there as well. So we're starting with, I mean, they cover kind of templates, samples, and components. We're starting with a handful of these on launch, but we do plan to launch another 10 in the month following the launch. So keep an eye out for that as well. And that'll include many examples of how to do interesting things with the Pia platform. The thing about the platform is that you can do a huge amount of things with Pia. And sometimes it's almost a curse. So when people are looking on how to do something, they're always looking for an example of how to do it, so they can start there.
Yeah.
So we'll have a lot of that in there, and that also is a place where we're going to launch, all of or most of our activities. So we're launching over 200 activities in there as well. We get asked this question a lot. Can we have a copy of the activities Pia uses building the core set of automations? And these are things like, activities that do exchange management, activities that do, on-prem Active Directory tasks, with file servers, with your domain controller, with directory sync, all that kind of stuff, and with Office 365, with license management, user management, those kinds of things. So those are effectively, so you don't have to reinvent the wheel. They're hardened activities. We use them, so they're going to work for you as well. Their blueprints are effectively, for people wanting to customize. That's what they're for.
Fantastic. Absolutely. I already know a whole bunch of MSPs and techs, some of which are actually in the chat, who are definitely going to appreciate this kind of access. That's very exciting. So a lot of information here, but let's say I did come into this automation hub and I'm looking for something specific, maybe something for identity verification on sensitive tickets, something like this. I see a search at the top. Presumably I can dive in there and just have a browse and see what I can find.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, so as soon as you click into the search up the top there, you do get the full list of everything in the automation hub. Did think about making this similar to how TV shows are found on a video streaming website, but we remembered how frustrating that is, and we quickly pivoted back to just giving a list of stuff to everyone. And I think hopefully everyone appreciates just having a list of the things. But yeah, you can use
absolutely.
so you can use the filter options on the side there. We've tried to make it really easy for people to find things. So.
All right. Well, let's kind of dive in. Let's have a look for that, because I know there's one in here, if I can spell challenge correctly, that we use. We're going to go for challenge user identity, which is obviously a very hot topic these days in minds of security and everything like this. Someone asks you for a password reset, and we'll make sure that you know who they are. We actually have two options. We have Duo and the 365. Should we go 365 for this one, Aaron?
Yeah, let's jump into the 365 automation there. And we'll see if we can
give this
that.
a click here, and this is what a PiaPack looks like. We've got the description of the PiaPack and its general workflow in this really nice kind of view over here on the left-hand side. And as I mentioned before, we've aimed to put all of the configuration steps in one place, so you don't have to manually configure anything essentially outside of this page. We've got all these kind of checklist items over here on the right-hand side. But if you do have any additional steps that might be required, you can also find them under the instructions here as well. So should we run through what actually looks like the installation? Should we run all the way through and get this installed?
Yeah, let's do it. So we've got 4 steps as part of the installer. So we'll run through each step, and we're going to talk through each step. So the first step there is that a PiaPack may have one or more things in it, right? So when we launch some automations, for example, with an integration, it might come with a smart form, it might come with an AI auto start, it might come with a couple of extension automations, right? So you can pick and choose up here. If we click on configure on that, what we're going to install out of the pack. Just for this demo, we're going to leave both things ticked, and we're going to save that.
Fantastic.
Awesome. And then coming down under configuration, we've got a few options, right? So these options will change based on the PiaPack that you're installing, depending on the needs of the pack itself. So the first thing we're going to do is configure clients that we want to apply these automations to. So as we come in here, the first thing you'll notice is that we can select from a list here, but some of them are disabled in the list there. That's based on Pia's tagging requirements. So tags are still respected. Tags are very important as part of your onboarding the client to make sure that your clients get the correct automations, right? So in Pia, the way that works is you'll tag a client with the environment type, so like cloud only, cloud hybrid, and perhaps some technology like Duo, that kind of thing. And as you tag clients, it'll just enable all the automations for those clients. So very easy to manage which automations you have activated on a per client basis. Because again, with Pia, we're not automating one client at a time. These automations are broadly applicable to as many of your clients as possible, if that makes sense. So in here, all we're going to do, we'll just maybe turn it on for all of our clients. We can select both of the packs up the top and switch that on. And then
I think, pretty much all selected, I think, as well.
Already selected for what we can do. Cool. And then, yes, we just hit save and close on that one.
And done. All right.
Awesome. And then down to the next step. So this pack does have an extension automation. So for anyone who's configured extension automations in Pia, you'll know that we don't have a bulk configuration option available. This does do bulk configuration. So you'll be able to come in here, select the automations that you want to apply this extension to. So in this case, we want to apply it to password reset. And then the point in the automation where you want to apply that. So in this case, we're going to apply the challenge user identity automation extension to just prior to password reset. So just to describe what this does, the challenge user identity automation is for case where you get a call in your service desk, for example. Let's say George calls up and George is asking for a password reset. He's on an unknown number. You haven't talked to George before. Do you trust who George is? Do you just going to reset the password and give George the new password?
Hell yeah, absolutely. No, of course. That sounds pretty sketchy to me. I don't know about that, man. I don't know if I'm going to trust this request.
So in this case, what we can do is, because this PiaPack has both the challenge user identity automation and the extension, you can, your engineers on the service desk, they can run the chatbot automation for challenge user identity. So they can choose challenge user identity in there, and they'll basically get that automation come up, and it'll say, okay, pick the user, it's George, George is calling in. All right, here's your challenge options. And we can send an SMS to George because we have his number. We can send an email code. We can send an MFA push notification to the Microsoft Authenticator app. And we can actually validate who George is before we perform the next step. The extension automation, which is what we're configuring here, will actually plug into the password reset automation. So every time you run a password reset, we can prompt the challenge identity questions at that point in the process to make sure that password resets are actually being challenged before the reset actually occurs in that instance. So yeah, I think this is what we want, Tom. We could just save that.
Wait. There we go. One more down.
Awesome. And yeah, so coming down to this one, so every automation has options, right? So the automation has specific options on how the behavior of that automation is going to work. And for anyone who's built a Pia automation, you know that you can set up these per client options. So you can modify this configuration on a per client basis. Just when we're installing the pack itself, we can set it up globally. So this is something that we've not been able to do on platform until now. You can now do global configuration for default settings for your packs, your automations through the Automation Hub. In this case here, we've got the option to turn on and off different challenge user identity auth mechanisms. So we can say, we don't want to use the SMS option. We don't want our engineers to ever, our service desk team to ever send it through an SMS. In this case here, we're just going to leave the defaults and I think hit save.
Yeah. We've got obviously as well. I just quickly switch across there as well. We do have the same for anything else as a part of that pack that has that configuration as well. So save and close. There we go.
Yeah, let's do it. Awesome.
Last step?
And then, yeah, finally, we're going to have an integration set up. And so in this particular case, we don't really need to configure anything here, although we will just put something in there. Just put something in there for now, Tom. We've take this back out for challenge user identity. It's a special case for anyone who's worked with that automation. You don't need to set up the integration for it because the automation handles it itself. But for Duo, for example, if you're installing a PiaPack for Duo, you'll put your API key in here. If you already have the integration installed through the Automation Hub, it won't ask you to do anything. So we can save and close that one.
All green ticks.
All right, get through it. So, and then finally down the bottom here, again, this is where you can choose the installation location. So you can choose to install Pack into a sandbox. So again, if you want to see the contents of what this thing does, or you want to customize it, you pick sandbox, and then you can just select the sandbox that you want it to go into. Simple as that. And then if we obviously want to put it in live mode, which is what we're going to do in this demo, we select live mode, and it will tell us in the notes down the bottom there, how many clients it's going to activate it for. So that should be pretty much good to go.
I think we're good to go. Let's go ahead and hit install.
Yeah.
So this is essentially just now getting it into the tenant, getting me access and doing all of that configuration essentially for me. And it's done.
It's done. That's
fantastic.
It. Success.
Awesome. Cool.
So,
well, sorry, Aaron, go ahead. Just definitely too excited.
No, I was going to say, so this is huge, right? I mean, that just did a lot of things for you. So very, very cool, and a big win, right? For anyone who's worked with configuration in Pia before, you know, obviously if we gave you access to the Automation Hub, and didn't give you a way to install these really easily, I think you'd probably be probably unhappy with us. So this is just going to make it super easy for you to just go in and install these.
Absolutely. And now, of course, we can see now one installed in that there. So we can always keep a track on that as well. Now, of course, that was pretty cool. So we want to make sure it works. So we want to go prove that the process was successful and run it live. See if we're all good.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
All right, sweet. So we'll hop over to, I'm sure what is some familiar screen to a lot of you here. We've got a little ConnectWise ticket up for a very legitimate looking password reset request here. So we'll go through, maybe obviously in this case, we're maybe not super trusting of this email that's kind of come through. Pia's recommend the password reset. So let's kick this off and let's see how far we get and when that integration has kind of popped up here. Of course, within about, I mean, we were waffling through a lot of that, but within about 30 seconds or so of needing it, it's clicked, it's installed, and it's immediately live for the kind of users that are using the service desk as well.
Yeah.
So we'll go for
yeah. Medium shield. That's the one.
There he is.
It's our QA team being very creative. Some surprised it's not a Marvel character.
Just see some of the test tenants that we have. It's fantastic, the kind of names that pop up there.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. But yeah, this, for everyone watching, this is Tom just running the standard password reset automation that you will have already, if you're using P, you would have already rolled this out on your service desk. So yeah, look at what it's just done. For anyone who's used this, would not have seen it challenge user identity options before. So just using the standard password reset automation, but plugging that extension in, gets us this new capability straight within password reset.
There you go. Fantastic. And again, if we weren't waffling away, you can imagine how quick that operation would have been. You cut through a couple of tickets and it's done globally at that point. Absolutely fantastic.
Very cool. Very cool.
So if we come in here, we'll just do a quick recap of everything we've kind of looked at here. We actually ran through both of these kind of demos here. Aaron, do you want to just do a quick summarization of everything we just saw?
Yeah, let's do it. So effectively, just to cover off what we've looked at, right? So we're launching the new Automation Hub with 30 new PiaPacks, 6 integrations that Pia previously did not available with Pia. So that's huge. We've walked through the discover and search of PiaPacks, as well as the PiaPack product pages and installation process. And we've also touched on how to manage PiaPacks with installation, updating, and uninstalling PiaPacks. And so those are huge lifecycle features. We know how important it is for MSPs to actually manage the things that you're actually using, that you want to use, and updating and uninstalling. And that's just the start. So obviously for the rest of this webinar, we do have obviously some more things to cover, and we're going to touch on some things in an upcoming release because there is a lot more for us to go through.
Mhm.
But this is just the start of effectively. We have our largest innovation releases ever that we will be launching over the next 6 months, and we're very excited for those. So while I can't share much about those, I definitely will be coming back onto some webinars in the new year because we've been quiet over the last 6 months, but we have been working very hard on some things. So there's definitely a lot to be excited about.
Oh, what a tease! We'll have to get together again, yeah, in the new year and bring out some more information. I can't wait. I absolutely can't wait for
Absolutely.
it. Alrighty. Well, that was an awful lot of stuff. There's some really, really cool stuff in the Automation Hub. But like you said, that's just one part of this release. This is a fantastic release. A lot of really cool stuff in here. So let's take a moment. Let's talk through some of the other items that are coming down in here as well. So Aron, if you could, just a few words on the approvals that are coming down. We've got a kind of a sample in here for you as well.
Yeah. So, and just to uh, with the Automation Hub, so that will come out, just covering this off as well. The Automation Hub will come out in the next, we're looking at the next couple of weeks to the first set of partners, with the Automation Hub being broadly available to everyone by about the middle of December at kind of the latest. That's what we're aiming for at the moment. But this is Platform 20. So Automation Hub is its own release, but Platform 20 is still going to come out, and it's still got a lot in it. But we're trying to get that out just after the Automation Hub. So a lot of these things are already development complete, and we're just putting the final touches on those and trying to get that out as well. So approvals functionality here. For anyone who's used Pia, if you want to put approvals in place, you do need to do some custom automation work to do that at the moment. So this new approvals functionality is in addition to what's available at the moment, which will continue to support and work for that as well, for people who set that up. You will also be able to just use and set up approvals straight in the platform itself without any customization. You can go in, configure approval rules, and you'll be able to say, for license procurement, if someone tries to procure a license during an onboarding, I need approval, or license management automation, I need approval for that. If someone wants to do a password reset, we need approval for that. So this will be useful for people doing password resets through smart forms. Well, it's going to go and get approval first, unless you're an approver. So all of this functionality, and it's very flexible as well. So with approvals, you can set up different conditions. You can send it to multiple groups of approvers. You can add approval steps. If someone doesn't approve something within a certain time threshold, you can escalate it. You can do client approvals, and role-based approval, or you can do staff, your own MSP staff as approvers as well, or groups in your MSP. This all works with the synchronization between contacts in your PSA. So you can synchronize contacts in from your PSA, put them automatically into approval roles, and that'll all work seamlessly with the approval rules. So yeah, that's a huge feature that we have almost just sitting on the shelf, ready to go. We're just gonna roll that one out.
I'm excited for that one. I know a lot of partners have talked about approvals and potentially put little things in place already, but this is just going to make it a snap for absolutely everyone. So that's really, really awesome. I know the next one that we have here as well has also been hotly requested. I know that we actually teased this at the end of the last webinar that we had, and that is Pia API. So
yeah, we
tell
always
us a
get a
little bit
strong
more about
reaction on this one. Yes.
Yeah.
So there it is. We have built an API for Pia. This has been requested, hugely requested feature.
Yeah.
And what this will allow people to do is trigger automations through an API. So, and that's just one of the things. So the APIs for Pia are going to cover three broad areas, right? One is building automations with Pia. So there will be APIs for pushing and pulling packages, activities, and forms to and from Pia. There will be, and in the future, we are going to be launching, we're not launching it as part of this, but we will be launching MCP as well for anyone using AI to build automations. So that's going to happen as well. But part of this release, it'll be kind of after the Platform 20 release. And so building configuring Pia, so activating agents through an API and configuring client configuration. And then finally, running automations, so automating through an API, triggering automations. So we're going to launch the APIs with 26 API endpoints to start with. And yeah, we'll be adding things as we go.
Fantastic. Now, Aaron, did I hear activating agents in that list of endpoints there? That's an
Absolutely.
interesting
So
one. That's an interesting one. Fantastic. And for those of you who are in that area, you're building things, you want to get your hands on this as well. There's a little bit more extra goodies in the bag for you as well, in the form of Pia Source. Now, this one again, very, very cool. I'm actually really excited to get my hands on this one as well. Aaron, what is Pia Source? What are we looking at here for the uninitiated?
yeah, so for anyone building automations, we've had this requested for a while. We want source control. We want the ability to take our custom automations out of Pia, put them into Git. We want the ability to do revisioning and version history, conflict resolution, all those things. Pia is never going to have. We're not going to reinvent the wheel. We're never going to build source control tool. So what we did was we're leveraging Visual Studio Code, right? So for anyone who's used VS Code before, it's already great at all of those things. So all we're going to do is give you an extension. This extension is already built. If you actually go into the VS Code marketplace and type Pia, you'll actually find it in there. So it's already built and it's
Everyone's
already
just immediately
sneakily,
switching tab right
yeah,
now.
yes. It's already built. It's already there. This is an actual screenshot. This is not a design. Our team's using this, and it works with the Pia APIs. So you can hook this up to your Pia tenant, and you'll be able to push and pull automations to and from your sandboxes straight down to your local. So yeah, this one I think is very cool. Some people are going to be very happy about that.
Absolutely fantastic. Some real cool stuff as part of this release here, and I believe there is a little bit more in here as well, even extra stuff going in here as well. So we've got some ticket bundling stuff and a bit of a rebranding on the chatbot. So again, just give us a few words on this one, Aaron, before we get close to the end here.
Yeah, and really this is just to highlight that we've covered off some major things, but our releases always have quality of life improvements. We're listening to people. I think we've done over 2/3 of the feedback on Pia ideas. We're still churning through things on there. We always want people to kind of contribute to that and tell us what you want, what you're looking out for. One of those things is this ticket bundling. We had a lot of feedback saying because with Pia platform, you can schedule automations for later. So, and Pia will pick that up at the scheduled time and work on that at a later point. A good example of this is the staff offboarding, right? You can schedule a staff offboarding for Friday at 5 p.m. And Pia will just pick it up and do it at Friday at 5 p.m. And so we just had a lot of feedback about how Pia does that with creating a ticket, bundles it under the parent ticket in the PSA. We now have an option to just reopen the existing ticket. So for people who prefer that option, you'll be able to configure that. We are going to rebrand the Pia chatbot to Tech Assist. We've got a lot of configuration changes happening in the configuration portal, the partner portal for Pia. So we're gonna centralize all of that under a Tech Assist banner and effectively bring that together for people. So yeah, there's lots more coming out, but it's obviously that aren't getting a mention on the webinar, but keep an eye on the release notes. You can access our release notes through the knowledge portal, and they'll all be available up there in the coming weeks as we start releasing these things out.
Absolutely. So definitely do keep an eye on that, guys. A lot of information is in there already, but more and more is just going to come in as more of the things get released and get updated. So do check that out. Obviously, we have a YouTube channel as well with a lot of information. Now, just before we get into our Q&A, which there is a lot, so we'll go through this for a little while. We'll go through and answer as many as we can. I'm just going to throw this up on screen as well for any of you guys who are not using Pia yet, but are interested in a lot of the things that we've discussed today, or just finding out a little bit more about all of the ways It can improve the efficiency of the service desk, give you guys that time back, get you through those kind of mundane tasks that are coming through, and so, so much more. I do recommend jumping in, booking a demo with one of the engineering and with the sales team here. And we'll take you through, we'll get you the answers, and we'll show you absolutely everything we can. There's a QR code on screen there, which I'll leave there. Of course, you can find us directly at pia.ai, which is our website, as well as LinkedIn, Facebook, and of course our YouTube channel as well, where this will be popped at the end if you do want to recap and see any of those kind of items. And I think that's everything, Aaron. Anything you want to add before we jump into the Q&A and answer some of the questions that have come down?
No, again, I just want to say very excited, and I'm always itching to tell people what we're working on, but we're not ready to share some things that we're working on yet. So there's some very, very cool stuff coming over the next 6 months. So yeah, I definitely want to make sure we we share that with everyone, that we will be doing some really big announcements earlier next year as well.
Absolutely. Keep your ear to the ground, guys. There's some really cool stuff coming along. Obviously, we'll always be here. We'll do the webinars every time there's something big, something interesting. So do keep an eye out for that. Definitely join us on our kind of our next one here. Alrighty, let's work through some of these questions. There is quite a few of them here. Some have been answered live, so if I do skip over you, it's probably just because we answered it live, or it might be something we need to kind of follow up with after the fact. But first one here, and I think we did cover this a little bit, and I've been asked for a couple of people, is of course, when do I get my hands on these shiny new toys? So I think, Aaron, you mentioned this, pretty much everyone will have their hands on the Automation Hub by mid-December, I think was the goal.
Yeah, exactly that. So, and we've got some early adopters that we're working with. We're going to get that out to them over the next few days. But yeah, definitely rolling out to all partners over the coming weeks by mid-December.
Fantastic. And this is interesting. This actually got asked a couple of times. Are MSPs able to contribute directly to the Automation Hub?
That is a good question. So we will be launching these 30 PiaPacks. They are all created by Pia, and we've obviously done that in conjunction with working with a lot of MSPs on those specific requirements and scenarios. But we do want to engage the MSP community to actually help us, push this forward. And so we want to work with a few close partners who want to, really taking things on Pia to the next level and building things and get some of those things on the Automation Hub. So that's kind of a next step for us. That's going to be a huge initiative because while Pia can obviously build things and get things out there, MSPs building things as well and getting those onto the platform is just going to accelerate the things that are available for everyone, right? So in terms of that, I do want to highlight as well, and this is a question that I usually get after that question is asked, Tom, which is Pia still going to be curating that and reviewing that and all those sorts of things? And the answer is yes, of course. If we do allow MSPs to push things out onto the Automation Hub, it'll go through approval processes first and reviews, and obviously we'll be part of that quality checks and things like that as well, and from a security perspective, of course. So yeah, look out for that. If we make that happen, there'll be plenty of announcements around that, and it'll be very clear where that's coming from in the Automation Hub as you're looking at things as well.
Absolutely. So we're not going to see any kind of PiaPacks pop up called "absolutely not a virus, 100% trustworthy, download now," or download more RAM or something like that.
No, we are very serious about security. So.
Good, awesome. Now this is one that I know we've had in the past regarding a couple of different releases and stuff like this, and that is, do the automations or the packs within the hub itself, do they cost anything? Like, am I paying any extra to get into here, or just to 79p App Store situation to get access to these packs?
No, I mean, for what everyone's paying, today for their licenses, they get you access to everything in the Automation Hub. So fantastic. Yeah, we're not charging anything in addition to what we're currently charging today.
Fantastic, awesome. And this is an interesting one here in the chat. If a partner, or an MSP chose not to manually install the PiaPacks and automation hub, if it's not something they wanted, will they still be added through the traditional platform updates in time? And I presume the answer is probably not. I think they're designed to be there kind of on demand when needed, not to essentially add stuff that you probably don't need, right?
Yeah, so with the automation hub, when we add new Pia packs to the automation hub, they're actually not on your tenant at all. And the only thing that's on your tenant is kind of the information about what's available. So yeah, when you want to install something, it is on demand. So you can go and install that. And that's the point at which the automations get pulled down to your tenant. And yeah, so that's entirely controlled by you.
Absolutely. And this one is regards to the kind of configuration and some of the global settings that we saw. We obviously saw the ability to see the integrations and how that works. But for the case where new delegate consents are required, where you do need to grant additional access to a client-specific tenant in order to be able to do certain things, how does that look generally from a PiaPack kind of installation perspective?
Yeah, so we didn't show that in the demo today, but it'll be another configuration option in the installer, and it'll make sure that the clients that you're activating the automation for has the scopes available, the scopes required for that particular automation. If it doesn't, it will give you the option in the installer to actually go and authorize those clients to do that as well. We are working on, it's still a per client authorization for delegates, but we are working on a way to make that a lot easier to do. And hopefully improve the way we do application consents as well. So the ability to add additional application and control the scopes available in the application role as well. So that's something we're working on. But yeah, any way we can make that easier, we definitely hear the feedback on that. So we are working on ways to improve that.
Fantastic, awesome. And there's another one in here, essentially saying, with the automation hub, for any custom, I think this is quite an interesting one. For custom automations that people already create, extensions potentially in this case, is there any way, or will there ever be any way, where they can leverage that kind of mass configuration, that mass deployment type of logic for something that didn't come from the automation hub, but it was instead built manually by the engineers, maybe something they already have kind of knocking around?
The answer is yes, and we kind of wanted to build out this functionality first for the automation hub. Things need to be kind of packaged in a way that actually allows the platform to do that installation configuration piece. Obviously, we need to know certain things like the requirements of the automation. Does it need certain delegate scopes? Does it have an extension that it needs to be set up to certain extension points, those kinds of things. So there is a packaging process that we do to get things into the automation hub. We will be working on the packaging process being just a screen in, for example, the package editor that allows you to just publish it to the automation hub. And that would be kind of like an internal feed to your tenant. So you're not going to go up, publish it available to everyone else. That would just be, if you're building a custom automation, it would just be available on just your tenant, but it would allow you to take full advantage of the full installer capabilities that you saw, including that bulk mass configuration and deployment functionality. So yeah, absolutely, we'll be supporting that in a future release. And that's not going to be available on the day one launch, but it'll be available in an upcoming release. Absolutely.
Fantastic, awesome, really cool one. And this is an interesting as well. In a similar vein with integrations.
Sorry, just to interrupt, because I just saw on that question, part of that question is, can you go back into the automation PiaPack that you've already installed and add additional clients? And the answer is yes. You can actually go back into it and click edit configuration, and you can apply it to more clients and update the configuration. So we do support day one. We support editing the configuration of an installed PiaPack as well. Yeah.
Fantastic. Yeah, awesome. There's too many questions, and it's such a small window that Zoom gives me to scroll through them. But absolutely, thank you, Aaron. Now one additional one that we've got here in the realm of integrations, in terms of things existing already. If you already had, and because a lot of these things have kind of existed for automations already, if you already had maybe the Duo or the Identity Challenge 365 integration configured and there, presumably when you go to install it, is it going to recognize that? You're not going to have to try to redo one over the top or anything like that?
It will need to be set up through the Automation Hub. The Automation Hub integrations have specific requirements, and the naming format of the integration fields and things, they're all specific to the Automation Hub. So you'll just need to copy paste your credentials or things back into the Automation Hub integrations if you've already got an integration for something. But yeah, unfortunately, there wasn't a way we could kind of work around that, because people are kind of setting up these custom integrations kind of to suit their custom automations. So you've kind of got to either run both side by side or have your custom automations just switch over to the Automation Hub versions of the integrations.
Fantastic. And this is another one just before. There's a few extra points I want to touch on before we kind of wrap this one up as well. But this is one that I saw. And I know that a customer actually asked me before as well. I think we touched on it a little bit, but in the same kind of vein of our platform and our automation updates appearing in the blog in the knowledge portal, are we going to have kind of a third stream of updates, which is essentially going to be those items that are appearing in the Automation Hub when they're made available? I was going to say published or added, but I guess made available is more accurate.
Yeah, we do want to do this. We want to, obviously, we're an automation company, so we're going to automate this. We do want an automatic feed of PiaPack updates and new PiaPacks. These will actually also be available on our website. Marketing has done an amazing job, because this feed of PiaPacks is just a JSON feed. So our website will have all the latest PiaPacks on it as well. But yeah, we'll figure out a way to make that either feed the knowledge portal or some sort of subscribe functionality to subscribe to updates. But yeah, we are working on something there.
Very cool. Very cool. And just a final few points I want to mention. Firstly, I want to thank everyone for all of their input into the Q&A when the fact that you couldn't use it as a particular chat. A lot of it is just a lot of hell yes and fantastic and love this and stuff like that. So there is a lot of them in there, which I'm essentially going to leave there and just say essentially unanswered. But I do want to thank everyone for that. Someone did mention when we hit our medium shield, which was the name of the QA account that we were using, that a lot of theirs, the name they use is automation, which I just loved. I just had to mention that. I think that's really fun. The automation.
Well, you can't skip over the Dean Winchester reference there. I'm a big fan of Supernatural, you know.
There you go as well. I wasn't sure if anyone would get that. So yeah, absolutely, Dean's in there. Dean's in there as well. And the last one that came through, which I think is fun, because I definitely noticed it when we were talking about the Pia API, is we now have quite a lot of things that use the letters API. So the endpoint, the URL of our API could be api.pia.ai/Pia AI API. I think that's the longest URL I found, constructed of 3 letters. There's not a question there, but I thought it was fun. So I think
we'll share some Swagger docs and things. I think it's just going to be /API on your tenant, so something like that.
That makes sense. But, that makes sense.
Yeah,
less fun but more official, I suppose. Not less.
Yeah, we're anything if not efficient. Okay, so.
And then final question here, just before we do wrap this one up, I just want to thank everyone again for their time. I know we've got a little bit over here. Someone in the chat, I assume this is directed directly to you, Aaron, because I'm not going to do it. They want you to say PiaPack 5 times fast, if you can.
PiaPack. PiaPack. It's you're probably sick of me saying PiaPack by the end of this call.
No, I love it. It's ingrained in my brain now. PiaPack. I'm going to be dreaming of PiaPacks at the end. Rolls off the tongue. It's not too bad. And there we go. There are a lot of comments there that we didn't touch on. Most of them were just as I mentioned, just that kind of excitement or anything like that. Of course, if you did have questions that we didn't get to, or if you have any that just pop up, or you are watching this recording and you have questions, absolutely feel free to reach out to any of us here, to our support team, to your PSM rep, to your sales rep. Anyone like that will be able to get you in touch with us and be able to, or if you want to reach out to me directly, you can as well. But we'll be able to get those kind of answers to you and help you out in any way that we can. But again, with that, I just want to thank absolutely everyone for your time today. It's been an absolute pleasure. I'm so glad we've actually done this. I know that we've been talking about the Automation Hub internally for quite a while now, and it's been teased for a while. It feels so good to get it out there. It feels so good to finally be able to kind of talk about this. And yeah, I'm for one just really excited for when you guys can get your hand on it and start kind of getting those PiaPacks installed.
Share those sentiments.
That's it. That is absolutely it. Aron, any final thoughts before we close this one off?
No, just obviously very excited, and yeah, get your hands on it and play with it. The holiday period. I was going to say Christmas. I don't know if I could say that. The holiday period's coming up, and so obviously, yeah, get in there. And if you got a quiet period over that holiday period, have you got some downtime to play with some things? So, yeah, thank you for joining us.
Thank you ever so much for joining us, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day. Have a fantastic week. Have a fantastic weekend. And of course, do look out for the notifications. We will absolutely be back with more information soon. Do feel free to join us or reach out if there's absolutely anything else we can do to help you guys out. But otherwise, thank you again. Have a fantastic weekend.
Awesome. Thanks, everyone.
Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.